Morning, sir.
So in yesterday's class, we had started talking about adverse drug reactions, and I discussed what are type A and type B briefly. Today we'll get into the details of what are type A and type B and what are the other types. Okay. So first of all, coming to type A reactions, which are all augmented reactions. Type AADRs. Yep. And these are the augmented type. And there are three different types of type A reactions. The first one will be your classical side effects. Now, side effects are essentially unwanted effects of a drug. These are kind of extension of their pharmacological effect. Yesterday, I gave you an example where, let's suppose someone is taking insulin. तो उनके अंदर instead of blood sugar level coming back to normal, it is going below normal. ठीक है? So hypoglycemia due to insulin. That is an extension of the pharmacological effect. It is predictable. It can happen. ठीक है? Side effects are generally predictable and they are related to the primary pharmacological effect of the drug. ठीक है? Then another example would be if a patient is having hypokalemia because of furosemide. Uh, Lasix बोल के एक drug रहता है आप लोग I'm sure you must have seen it in a hospital if you've been to if you look at case sheets long enough you'll see a drug called Lasix being given to some patients. Okay, that is essentially furosemide. Lasix is a high ceiling diuretic. वो क्या करता hypokalemia create करता. Essentially, it will cause excretion of potassium from your body, ultimately lead to hypokalemia. So, hypokalemia because of furosemide is something that you can expect. That is a side effect. Okay. Then we have secondary effects. Okay. Secondary effects are indirect consequences okay, of the primary drug action. For example, if a patient is having super infection because of broad spectrum antibiotics. So, for you to understand super infections, you need to understand how broad spectrum antibiotics work and what will happen in super infection. So, now there is microflora and the flora and fauna that is present inside your gut, in your intestines. Okay. These bacteria are helpful for you in some cases, and some other cases they do not cause harm to you at least. They are simply living in your body. अब कभी कभी क्या होता in certain infections when a doctor is giving a broad spectrum antibiotic like let's suppose cephalosporin या फिर कोई अमाइनो ग्लाइकोसाइड दे रहे हैं या टेट्रासाइक्लिन दे रहे हैं क्लिंडामाइसिन दे रहे हैं ये पूरे दिए जब क्या होता so these are the common broad spectrum antibiotics that will cause uh, this thing super infection. You can remember it as CAT-CC. Okay. The abbreviation is CAT-CC. You have cephalosporin, aminoglycoside, tetracycline, cycline, tetracyclines. Then we have chloramphenicol and clindamycin. Super infection में होता क्या? Your microflora and fauna, because you are not performing a proper culture sensitivity or you're not performing it in time, and you start giving a broad spectrum antibiotic for a long period of time, what will happen is there will be a few organisms which will start getting what do you call this thing? They'll start getting used to the antibiotic. They'll start developing resistance to the antibiotic. Even if, especially in case when that antibiotic is not indicated for that bacteria. Okay. Now there are several hundreds of different types of bacteria. Okay. With their each on variation. अब आप culture sensitivity इसलिए कर दे. The purpose of doing culture and sensitivity test is to make sure that you know exactly what type of bacteria is infecting that person and what type of bacteria is causing the problem so that you can give a narrow spectrum drug. ठीक है ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीबायोटिक एंड नारो स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीबायोटिक में डिफरेंस ये है ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम कवर्स अ वेरी वेरी वाइड रेंज ऑफ एंटीबायोटिक्स बट इट इज नॉट स्पेसिफिक narrow spectrum antibiotic will be specific to that bacteria or that type of bacteria. That is the main difference. ठीक है. Your penicillin is also a type of broad spectrum antibiotic. It will cover a lot of bacteria, but they are not specific. They will not specifically target any one type of bacteria. या फिर narrow spectrum antibiotic का example आपको रह सकता है linezolid या vancomycin, ठीक है, piperacillin, ये पूरे narrow spectrum है. They specifically target one or the other type of bacteria. Piperacillin is also not exactly in the narrow spectrum, but you can consider these what you call vancomycin, linezolid as narrow spectrum antibiotics. यहाँ पर problem क्या होता है when you are not performing culture and sensitivity test and you administer broad spectrum antibiotic for a long period of time. Let's suppose the patient has some infection and they come to you. Let's suppose they get admitted in the hospital because of some certain infection, and you are not performing culture and sensitivity in time. Generally speaking, as soon as the patient comes to a hospital with some infection, what is done is you will give empirical treatment. Okay, you will guess based on the patient's signs and symptoms. You will guess what condition they have, what infection they have, and you will give a broad spectrum antibiotic, and you will immediately order a culture and sensitivity. This can take anywhere from 1 day to 1 week, okay, or 7 days. Some organisms grow slowly, okay, and they will not be seen properly on culture and sensitivity. So maximum of जो है broad spectrum antibiotic should not be given more than 3 to 7 days. Once you know what type of organism it is, switch to narrow spectrum antibiotic. All right. Generally, within 7 days, you will get to know what type of organism the patient is suffering from, especially from signs and symptoms that will develop over time. अब अगर ये नहीं करे, क्या होता? Culture and sensitivity. Let's suppose the doctor is not doing, or you are not doing culture and sensitivity. The hospital is not authorizing it. What will happen is bacteria which are not susceptible to the antibiotic. So there will be a lot of bacteria in your body that are not susceptible to this thing, antibiotic as well. But what will happen is due to exposure of that, due to exposure of the broad spectrum antibiotic, your microflora and fauna will start to die. Your microflora is very important, not just because it is helping you digest things, but they also help in controlling infections. माइक्रोफ्लोरा का एक और काम क्या है, एक इंपॉर्टेंट काम क्या है? Whenever there is an infection, especially a GIT infection, they will make sure that they are consuming most of the food, the spare food. Okay, most of it will be digested, and the some amount of food that is being spared, that will be consumed by your microflora, the gut bacteria that is present, healthy bacteria. This is making sure that any infective organism that is coming inside your body, that fellow does not have food. Okay, let's suppose your microflora is M. Okay, some bacteria named M, and there is one invasive pathogenic bacteria. Let's suppose that invasive pathogenic bacteria is X. Okay, अब आप normal खाना खा रहे, you are eating nutrition, whatever you eat, it is getting digested, and some amount of that digested food is going to these microflora and fauna, and this microflora is making sure that X does not get any nutrition. If X is not getting any nutrition, it will not be able to divide. So it is an indirect way in which your microflora is protecting you. Okay, super infection occurs when you give broad spectrum antibiotic for a very long period of time, and what will happen is these microflora and fauna will start to die. Okay, because of a broad spectrum antibiotic, X is not susceptible to it. Okay, X will not get killed because of broad spectrum antibiotics. In some cases, they will not die. Okay, nowadays, in most cases, actually, because most of the bacteria are developing resistance. There is already a big problem of antibiotic resistance in India and in the world. So, broad spectrum antibiotics की वजह से ये microflora मर जाते, but this X survives. Okay, and what will happen is maybe that X was present inside your body and it was not causing an infection. Okay, imagine it was an infection because of some other condition. Let's suppose it was an infection of some strep. ठीक है, कोई strep infection था patient को, throat infection या जो भी infection था, and you are giving a broad spectrum antibiotic. Your body also has several other bacteria. One such bacteria, imagine, was X. It did not have the capacity to divide at this point because of microflora. You giving broad spectrum for a long period of time, it will affect streptococcus to a certain extent. It will not completely be cured. It will affect the streptococcus to a certain level, but what will happen is these microflora will definitely die. Okay? When microflora dies, its inhibitory effect on X will decrease. Meaning what will happen is, along with streptococcal infection, now you will have an infection because of X as well. Right? I'll find that picture once again, just in case you did not understand. A patient is coming to you, it is getting admitted into a hospital with a strep infection. Imagine strep throat, whatever it is, strep infection है. अब इसके अंदर you do not know it is a strep infection and you are not even performing culture and sensitivity. You are giving some broad spectrum antibiotic. Imagine ये ब्रॉड स्पेक्ट्रम एंटीबायोटिक की वजह से क्या होता है आपके गट में इन योर इंटेस्टिन्स देयर इज माइक्रोफ्लोरा and there are some pathogenic bacteria as well. These pathogenic bacteria will be present, but they will not cause any problem because their number is very low. These microflora are making sure that this X does not get any food, it cannot divide, and it will not cause any pathogenic effect. Meaning this X is inhibited for now. Okay, minus sign representing inhibition. Let me use a different color. ठीक है, X is inhibited. अब क्या पता the patient is mainly having problems because of strep at this moment when you are giving broad spectrum antibiotic. When you give broad spectrum antibiotic for a long period of time, that strep might or might not get cured. But because you are not performing culture and sensitivity, you are not giving any specific type of antibiotic for strep for specifically strep, what will happen is your gut bacteria will die because of these broad spectrum antibiotics. A little bit of strep will also get affected, or maybe strep is also cured. But along with strep, what will happen is these microflora will die. When these microflora die, this inhibitory effect which microflora was exhibiting on X, that will go away. Meaning what will happen is now X will start dividing. Meaning you will have super infection, one infection over the other infection. As soon as strep is gone, X will start infecting your body and it will cause a more severe infection. Now, normally, ये X क्या रहते हैं? You have Clostridium difficile, or you have MRSA, methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. These are the ones that will generally cause. You have 2-3 more organisms, but these are the two common ones, especially in India, that will cause super infections. Okay, you are giving a broad spectrum antibiotic and you are not judiciously using a broad spectrum antibiotic, because of which what is happening is your microflora is dying. As microflora dies, the inhibitory effect of microflora on this bacteria, which was present in your gut but it was not dividing, will be removed. Microflora will not be able to inhibit it anymore. And as soon as strep is gone, sometimes even with the strep infection, you will start seeing symptoms of X. Okay? X will start dividing and X will start causing a disease altogether, completely new disease. So आपको एक और अच्छा headache आ जाता. That is why performing culture and sensitivity is very important. That will come under secondary effect. ठीक है, secondary effect of broad spectrum antibiotic हो गया ये, क्योंकि this was not intended. It was an indirect consequence. You are giving a broad spectrum antibiotic, but because you are not using it rationally, what will happen is the primary action of the drug will cause indirect consequences, in turn presenting as super infection. Okay, so that is the second type of type A reaction. I hope you understood what are super infections. If you have a doubt, if you want me to explain again, feel free to ask. Okay. Now the third type of type A reaction. So first was side effect, second is secondary effect. Secondary effect में आपका super infection है. Third one is toxic effect. Now toxic effects are essentially seen with very high doses. ठीक है, and they can be very serious. For example, अगर आप एक patient को morphine दिए, ठीक है, now patients who have severe pain, उन लोगों को morphine की drip देते, ठीक है. Morphine has one problem. It is a natural respiratory depressant. It will depress respiration, especially at higher doses, and it is a very narrow therapeutic index drug. Okay, I'll explain what are narrow therapeutic index drugs. But essentially, morphine ka dose agar more than prescribed limit. Let's suppose this is the limit of morphine, and you give it above the limit. What will happen is in this range, the patient will have severe respiratory depression because of overdosage. That can be fatal. The patient might die because of respiratory depression. That is a toxic effect of the drug. It is an extension of pharmacological effect. You know that the pharmacological effect is decreasing pain, but you also know that morphine can cause respiratory depression, can depress your respiratory system. especially at higher doses. That is why it is considered a toxic effect. If you go into toxic doses, that is when you see toxic effect. Okay? If you remember वो graph में बताया था, this is the threshold. If you go below it, it will be subtherapeutic. If you go above it, it will be toxic. Okay? This is one example of that toxic effect. Then we have type B ADRs. Okay. These are unrelated to the primary pharmacological effect. These are unrelated to the effect of the drug altogether. These are completely random. Okay, they are less common than abnormal reactions. Okay, they are less common than type A as well. You have two types of type B reaction. Type B इसलिए इसको बोलते हैं क्योंकि these are bizarre. You will not be able to predict them. Okay. The first one is idiosyncrasy. And the second one is allergic reaction. Idiosyncrasy is essentially a genetically determined abnormal reaction. Okay, so certain patients have a defective gene or certain defect in their several genes, which will cause them to become susceptible to certain drugs. Okay, they will have a abnormal reaction to certain drugs. So yesterday I explained to you about a group of population which will have G6PD deficiency. Glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase बोल के एक enzyme है आपकी body में. Okay, this enzyme is very important for various reasons. Some people have G6PD deficiency. About 3% of the world's population will have G6PD deficiency. So that's a big number. Okay. Now, people who have G6PD deficiency, let's suppose they do not know that they have G6PD deficiency and they come to the doctor for, let's suppose they have some bacterial infection or they have some, let's suppose they have malaria. Okay. उनके अंदर malaria है तो आप let's suppose Primaquine, if you prescribe Primaquine to them, or if they have a bacterial infection and sulfonamide drugs बोल के रहते हैं, there's a whole classification of it. So let's suppose you prescribe one, either Primaquine or you prescribe sulfonamide to them. What will happen is in patients who have G6PD deficiency, उनके अंदर hemolysis होगा. Their red blood cells will die. Their red blood cells will literally get destroyed. So that is an idiosyncratic reaction. It is a genetically determined defect. Okay, you or the doctor, let's suppose the patient or the doctor did not know that they had G6PD deficiency. Only after giving the drug, the patient starts showing hemolysis, and you deduce that okay, they might be G6PD deficient. Sometimes you will find it in India as well. But उनके case sheet के ऊपर लिखा हुआ रहता penicillin allergy or NSAID allergy, or it will be written in bold. If you stay in the hospital for long enough, you will definitely notice somewhere on the top of the case sheet or somewhere where it becomes very apparent, it will be written for anyone to see, any doctor to see or any nurse to see. Okay, whether the patient is maybe allergic to certain drug or they are allergic to penicillins or they are allergic to whatever they are. Okay, वैसे ही G6PD deficient बोल के भी लिखते हैं. Okay, so that is an idiosyncratic reaction, genetically determined defect. तो ये सिनारियो में क्या होता है, जब भी आप ड्रग देंगे पेशेंट को hemolysis होगा. The counter to it is immediately stop the drug and try to reverse hemolysis. ठीक है. Then we have allergic reactions. Now allergic reactions में क्या होता है, the patient is allergic to the drug itself. Okay, the patient will either develop allergy later on in the life or by birth they are allergic to certain drugs. Okay, even if you are giving a therapeutic dose, a normal dose of the drug, and there are patients who are allergic to paracetamol. Rare, but there are patients who are allergic to paracetamol. So even if you give 500 mg of the drug, what will happen is this drug molecule will act as an antigen to your body, and it will trigger an immune reaction, wherein what will happen is antibodies are formed against this drug, and you will have a proper allergic reaction. अलग-अलग type of allergic reactions हो सकते हैं, but you will have an allergic reaction. And subsequently, any time that there is an exposure to this drug, especially let's suppose skin पे है या respiratory tract पे है, GIT पे है, कहीं भी है, you will have a proper allergic reaction. Okay, the patient will have fever, rashes, all of that. They'll start sweating, or they might become anaphylactic. All of that will happen. So those are the two types of bizarre reactions. There's no way to actually find out until and unless you administer the drug. Until and unless the patient is encountering the drug, you cannot know that they will be allergic. You have to do a genetic picture for you to know, and that will be quite costly. And in India, it's not done as such. In the world, also very few places it is being done, where you know the genetic makeup of the patient and you already know what they will be allergic to and what is their genotype and phenotype. It'll become easier to give drugs in that scenario, what to avoid and what you can give bulk. Then we have type C ADRs. ठीक है, इनको कंटिन्यूअस या क्रॉनिक बोलते हैं. ठीक है, कंटिन्यूअस or chronic use reactions. Now, as the name suggests, these are reactions that are occurring because the patient is taking a drug for a long period of time. Okay? These reactions will occur on prolonged usage of drug. For example, if a patient is taking analgesics, painkillers, okay, for a long period of time, there is a good chance that their kidney will be fried. They will have nephropathy, damage to your nephrons. Okay. Or if the patient is taking, let's suppose they are taking chloroquine for a long period of time. If they are taking chloroquine for a long period of time, they will develop retinopathy. ठीक है, ऐसा है. These are occurring over a long period of time. अब एनाल्जेसिक अब्यूज करें तो उनके नेफ्रॉन्स काम करना बंद करते हैं. Opioid analgesics, for example, if someone is taking opioid analgesics for a long period of time, they will have constipation. Okay. If you take normal NSAIDs and normal analgesics, they will have nephropathy as well. That is also one common type of chronic use effect. Then there is delayed effects, type D ADRs. Type D or delayed effects. Okay. These occur a long time after you discontinue the drug. Matlab, you have already stopped the drug, maybe a few weeks or months or years have passed and you see the effects of the drug later on. How does that occur? One common example is cancer. Okay. Let's suppose a patient had one type of cancer. Let's suppose it was Hodgkin's lymphoma. Okay. Let's suppose a patient had lymphoma. ठीक है. अब Hodgkin's lymphoma की treatment, the drugs that you give for Hodgkin's lymphoma, sometimes what happens is, see, you have to remember drugs are also kind of like toxins. They are just in metered doses, but they are also toxins. Okay. अब Hodgkin's lymphoma की जो treatment है, that treatment itself can cause cancer. Okay. Especially it can cause leukemia. Okay. Several years after you treat Hodgkin's lymphoma, the patient might come again to you for cancer, but with a different type of cancer. They might have leukemia this time. This is because of the effect of the drug. Okay. Certain anti-cancer drugs themselves have capability of causing cancer later on. Even if they are effective, some drugs will cause cancer. Okay. So those are delayed reactions. Then we have type E or end of use reactions. Type E, end of use. Okay. These reactions are occurring because you are abruptly stopping the drug. You are suddenly discontinuing the drug. One classic example is, let's suppose the patient is on atenolol. Okay. Atenolol is a beta blocker. Okay. Antihypertensive drug. Blood pressure कम करता. Now, atenolol is one such drug wherein if you are trying to stop the drug, that suppose the patient has been on the drug for a couple of weeks or a couple of months, you do not suddenly stop the drug. Okay, you decrease the dose eventually and you taper the drug. Slowly decrease karte hue. Let's suppose you are initially giving, let's suppose you are giving 10 mg BID. Okay, listen that twice a day. So 10 mg BID से आप क्या करते हैं? 5 mg BD करते हैं. Then 5 mg BD से 5 mg OD करते हैं. Then 5 mg OD से you stop the drug. Okay. So there are several ways of tapering, but essentially you taper the drug slowly. You do not immediately stop the drug as such. If you immediately stop the drug, what will happen is the patient will have angina. Okay. If you suddenly withdraw the drug, the patient will have angina. The same thing will happen in patients who are on opioid analgesics. Let's suppose they are on opioid analgesics for a long period of time and you suddenly stop the drug. Other than having severe pain, they will also have withdrawal reactions, severe withdrawal reactions. Of जैसा, if you have ever seen, there will be rehabilitation centers for people who are addicted to alcohol. वैसा ही उनके अंदर withdrawal symptoms जैसा होते, because they are discontinuing alcohol immediately. The same reactions or similar reaction will occur in these patients as well. जो opioid analgesics immediately stop कर देते. So you are not supposed to, suddenly withdraw the drug. You're supposed to taper it out. Another example will be the patient might have one patient who is on glucocorticoids. If you suddenly stop glucocorticoids, what will happen is they will have acute adrenal insufficiency. Their adrenal gland will not be able to cope up, and the patient will have severe bradycardia. Their sympathetic system will not work properly. Essentially, have a lot of problems. अगर glucocorticoids भी immediately stop कर दिए. There are a few drugs that you need to taper. If you immediately stop it, will create a big problem. Okay? So those are the 5 types of adverse drug reactions. Now we have a concept of teratogenicity. Okay. I hope you understood adverse drug reactions. If you have doubts on adverse drug reactions, please feel free to ask. Any type. If you did not understand any example, or if you want me to repeat anything. Okay. Now, teratogenicity essentially is a phenomenon, or you can also put it as the ability of a drug to cause abnormalities in fetus. Whenever the drug is administered in pregnancy, okay? If you are giving a drug in pregnancy, let's suppose you are giving X drug in a patient who is pregnant, okay, in any trimester, up there, and it is causing fetal abnormalities. Okay, either structural or physiological, any abnormality, those drugs will be called teratogens. Okay, and that phenomena is called teratogenicity, the ability of the drug to cause fetal abnormality in fetuses when they are administered to a pregnant lady. One example of teratogenic drugs, इन लोगों को teratogenic drugs भी बोलते हैं, इनको teratogens भी बोलते हैं, ठीक है? There was a drug called thalidomide. It stopped being produced and stopped being used, but in 1958, 1961 के बीच में, this drug was used for morning sickness. Okay? There was a sedative drug called thalidomide, and it was used by pregnant women for morning sickness. Now, the result was, because of thalidomide administration, several babies that were born after patients who were taking thalidomide, they had a particular condition called phocomelia or C-limb syndrome. Phocomelia में क्या होता? The patient is born without properly formed limbs. Their hands and legs will either not be completely formed, or there will be abnormalities in the development of their limbs. That is a direct effect of thalidomide. Okay, so you will also have different type of effects depending on at what stage you are giving, at what stage of pregnancy you are giving the drug. But because of phocomelia, thalidomide was completely stopped, at least in pregnant women. We might be used nowadays for other effects because it is essentially a sedative, but definitely not in pregnant women. And nowadays you have better drugs than thalidomide as well, so its production is not as much. But that was something that occurred in a long time ago, 1958 to 1961. ये time period में this drug was given, and several thousands of babies were born with phocomelia. They eventually had their lives done, but essentially thalidomide was a big problem, and they found out it is causing C-limb syndrome. C-limb syndrome भी बोलते हैं उसको, C-limb syndrome भी बोलते हैं उसको, ठीक है? Now, अब ये teratogenicity जो है, every drug can be teratogenic in a way, ठीक है? अब whether to give a drug in pregnancy or not will be based on a particular classification, ठीक है? There is a safety classification. तो आपको अलग-अलग drugs आते हैं. That classification is based on this grades A, B, C, D, and X. ठीक है? अब ABCDE and X भी आता है, कभी कभी ABCDEX भी आता है. Let's suppose we add ABCDE and X. ठीक है. Now drugs that are categorized under A, they will be the safest. You can definitely give them in pregnancy, no problem altogether. The drugs that are being given in X, those are highly teratogenic. They are completely teratogenic. If you give them, the patient's fetus will definitely have a problem. It will pose a threat to the fetus, and it might even pose a threat to the mother as well. So depending on क्या grade है, so the risk will keep on increasing this way. B drugs will have more risk than A, C will have slightly more than B, D will have more risk than C, E will have more risk than D, and X will have the highest risk. They are properly teratogenic drugs. So before giving any drug to a pregnant lady, find out, उसको teratogenic classification भी बोलते हैं. So what class of drug is this? क्या बोलते हैं? That drug, whichever you are giving. ठीक है? What class of teratogen it will fall under? Is it A, B, C, D, E, or X? अगर X है तो definitely don't give it. A है तो you can give it. B also, in certain cases you can give it. There is a proper classification, meaning depending on risks and benefits, you can give a few drugs. मतलब let's suppose A is completely safe, you can give it any time in pregnancy. B का कैसा रहता? It give them only when risks are less than benefits, meaning benefits outweigh risks. C will be in such a way that it is not showing any problems in humans, but it has shown some problems in animal studies. ऐसा थोड़ा risk बढ़ते जाता. By the time you come to X, they are completely teratogenic drugs. Okay. So that is a little bit about teratogenicity. We'll continue with teratogenicity depending on what stage of pregnancy, what will happen in the next class. Okay. अब conception पे दिया तो क्या होता? Then conception to 16 days, 17 to 55 days, then fetal period. एक trimester में दिया तो क्या क्या effects होते हैं? What type of teratogenic effects you'll see in patients? ठीक है? That will do in next class.